So the ONS has revealed the most popular baby names in England and Wales in the last year. It's Mohammed. Right.
Is it not Alistair?
No, it's not Noah.
It's not John.
It's not Arthur. Luca, Theodore, Oscar, Henry. Axel fell out of the top 100 this year for obvious reasons.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bet it did.
Yeah. But Mohammed has risen up to the number one for obvious reasons. Now, people were pointing out, whoa, hang on a minute. The only reason Mohammed is the most popular baby name, actually, is because the English have so many other names. Yeah, I don't want anyone in the country who is inclined to name their child after the Prophet Muhammad, given what he did. So the problem is that any of them are here in the first place. And Bodhi also entered the top 100. Classic British name.
Bodhi.
Yeah. Very odd. I mean, the ONS have put up some graphics here that really illustrate the situation. Rhea and Margot have moved up because people name their children rapidly after pop culture references.
Right. And Margot Robbie.
Yeah, that's exactly why. So just to get this, I tweeted this out and just reminded everyone that if you're concerned about cultural change, which a nation full of Mohammeds denotes, because I don't think all these Mohammeds are abiding by British values, excuse me for my scepticism, if you're concerned about that cultural change, then you can't afford to ignore demographic change. And the ONS lays out this demographic change in pretty stark reality in some of its graphs and the like in here. There's figure 4 in here for a map of these names, so we can see exactly who and where in the country are naming this. And what I found quite interesting, as you can see, so this is the one for girls, this is the one for boys. So if you zoom in, it's Manchester,
What a surprise.
Birmingham,
Oh, no way.
Oxford, Buckinghamshire, not London. Not London.
Well, you know what's interesting is that London is not actually the most concentrated place where Muslims in this country live.
No.
London is a kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of the vast cosmopolitan mix of all the globalist client groups. They all move back and forth through London, whereas we have colonies in these other areas from particular countries in the subcontinent.
Can you go to Leeds Bradford?
Bradford would be around Birmingham, wouldn't it?
No, it's a bit to the right.
Close to Leeds, I think.
Peterborough.
At least the one I have in mind.
Where is it? I am bad with maps.
Let me do it.
Go for it.
So
Leeds, right there.
It's Leicester,
Leeds is up. Nottingham, shock.
Sheffield,
Shock. Rotherham. Wakefield.
It says Leeds.
So Noah. Oh, I saw Otto English, the most throbbing brain of Indigenous historians.
Yes, unsurprisingly, Mohammed is the most popular name in Bradford.
So what Otto English pointed out, but did you know that Noah is also a Muslim prophet? So checkmate, bigots. It's like, number one, Noah is not a prevalent name throughout the Muslim world.
But also, if you're saying that the Muslims also calling their kids Noah, well then that doesn't change the problem.
No, the problem's actually way worse.
Yeah.
Because Noah's number 2. So there you go. The 3 most popular names for baby girls in England and Wales were Olivia, Amelia, and Isla. Why do you think that is? Why are Muslims not having more baby girls?
Well, I think that actually the issue is probably going to be about the concentration of the name Muhammad.
Yes.
Every other Muslim is called Muhammad.
Yes, sure. Why is there not a high concentration of baby girl names?
Well, I don't think Muslims just kill all the baby girls or anything.
I remember in Lewisham they had to stop telling the sex at birth because of all the sex-selective abortions. Oh. Which Keir Starmer actually argued in favour of when he was a human rights lawyer.
But I think they've got a multiplicity of girl names. Yeah. I might be wrong.
Yeah, that's possible. What's interesting as well, sadly, is that this is highly concentrated in England because Mohammed is only the 63rd most popular baby name in Wales.
Yeah, but that's been the case for immigration generally. I mean, this is just basically a map of immigration.
Yeah.
As every map is just a map of immigration. No, honestly, there is the map. It's the demographic map, and that's all it'll ever be. But the immigration into Britain has just mostly been into England by a factor of like 10 to 1. It's been crazy.
Now, this movement of Mohammed rocketing to the top space is not really much of a shock because it was the second most popular name in 2022, and it's been on the list of the most popular names since 2016. It's been in the top 10. And why could this possibly be? Well, it might have something to do with the relative fertility rates, because this was late October. As I mentioned on my show, which you should be watching behind the paywall, self-promotion, the average total fertility rate is now the lowest in England and Wales since records began in 1938. So the total fertility rate in England and Wales is 1.44 children per woman in 2023. Bear in mind, the replacement level is 2.1, because you want a child per parent, and then 0.1 is just in case, sadly, people die off. Turns out the total fertility rate hides two stats. The first is that total fertility rate is the average number of children per woman. Now, childlessness is what's driving this, because the majority of women now in the UK have reached 30 without having any children at all, despite the majority of them reporting wanting children, so that's a great personal tragedy. The problem is people aren't having fewer children per family. It's lots of people are having no children, and some people are having lots of children. And who are the some people? Well, the breakdown isn't in here, but the breakdown does come later.
Connor, I want to ask you something, because I think that this is a pattern across Europe. When we see the very low, below replacement birth rates, it isn't just native birth rates, it's just birth rates within that country.
Yeah.
Different demographics have more children than the native population.
Yeah, so for instance, let's say if we are to take the English population, is it going to be less than 1.44?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Figures for 2022 showed the average fertility rate had declined to 1.49, so it's steadily falling, and to then 1.55 in 2021. That's despite mass immigration from countries with higher birth rates, so that means the native population is falling faster than the imported populations with higher birth rates. So that's what the number's concealing.
I looked into this a few years ago, and the thing is, after something like 2 or 3 generations, the imported population, their birth rate declines as well.
Yes.
And so essentially the West is becoming a black hole for lineages.
Yes, it's becoming a mouse utopia.
Yeah.
Where pretty much everyone is staying inside, becoming a beautiful one and grooming themselves and gooning without actually reproducing.
So, grandmothers in India, just think about that.
Yeah.
If you move to Britain, you're not going to get great-grandchildren.
Anyway. I haven't met the Republican congressman yet. From the ads. It's okay.
I don't get this reference.
The ads.
So the
Oh, the one that materializes behind you like
He
Candyman.
manifests out of nowhere.
Yes, he's my favourite character. Isn't there someone you forgot to ask?
I'm in favour of him.
Yes, quite. You asked for a demographic breakdown, Stelios.
Yeah.
Here's something pretty shocking. Now, this is from Daily Mail reporting and the Daily Skeptic. In 2021, 74% of live births were to white British mothers. In 2023, it was 56%. That's an
Boris's bloody...
Boris wave.
Yeah.
An 18% drop-off in live births to British mothers within 2 years.
Thanks, Boris.
I wonder where this nation of Mohammeds came from. Can't possibly work it out.
We did have 250,000 Indians in every bloody year.
Yeah, that explains
6 years.
why Bodhi's just sort of rocketed up the chart. So now we've got another breakdown. Almost 1 in 3 babies in England and Wales were born to women from outside the UK. Now that isn't counting as well women who are second generation migrants.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So the numbers even larger. So this is according to the ONS. 31.8% of live births in 2023 were to non-UK born mothers, a slight increase from 30.3% in 2022. Thank you, Boris Wave. The proportion was also an increase from 26.5% a decade earlier, after passing the quarter mark, 25.1% in 2010. More than 1/3, 37.3% of live births last year were to parents where either one or both were born outside the UK. India remained the most common country for birth for non-UK born mothers, 3.6% of all live births and 3.9% of fathers, with Pakistan remaining second. There is a league table here as well that I'll scroll down to.
There's one thing I like to see is league tables.
Yeah, so we've got India at the top, then Pakistan, then Romania, then Nigeria, then Poland, then Bangladesh, Albania, Afghanistan, Ghana, and the USA.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's great. We've become a full-on nation of Indians under Rishi Sunak. Wonder why. Ghana entered the top 10 most common countries for non-UK born mothers the first time in 2023, in 9th place with 0.6% of live births. That pushed out Germany. So the Germans aren't having kids now.
Why are these people here?
Yeah. Greg Seeley, who's the head of population health monitoring at the ONS, a very sensible and impartial man in a neutral institution, said the data doesn't give you an accurate picture of a family's ethnicity or migration history.
So what you're saying is way worse than what we're showing you.
Yeah, he says almost a third of babies born in 2023 in England and Wales were born to non-UK women, a slight increase on the percentage in 2022. This is a continuation of the long-term trend of the percentage of live births to non-UK born mothers generally increasing. As Keir Starmer said, this isn't an accident, it's by design and it's a deliberate plan.
An experiment.
I'm just going off what the Prime Minister says, don't call me a conspiracy theorist. And he says, while our birth data shows us the parent's country of birth, it doesn't give us a picture of the family's ethnicity or migration history, and it's worth noting that not all women born outside the UK will be recent immigrants. Oh, that's all right then. My country of Mohammeds is just as British as you and me.
I hate this this entire line. Well, I mean, Alistair Campbell on Question Time yesterday, right? He was like, look, we shouldn't be judging them by our standards of what we consider British. And it's like, what do you mean, what we consider British? Every single one of these migrants, Alistair, is not British by definition because they are immigrants. They couldn't be immigrants if they were British. It's just, it's so crazy.
But here's the Motte Bailey argument as well. Harrison Pitt, my co-host on Deprogrammed, occasional Lotus, mentioned this to me yesterday. You know that, let's say, certain Welsh choir boys, when they argue that because they're born in Wales, they are Welsh, are not Welsh, because Wales themselves will tell you they're Welsh, because they feel the need to accommodate in the history curriculum retroactive black Britons being in there to represent them. So they're making the admission that they are set apart from the Welsh native population, otherwise they wouldn't feel the need to revise history to represent them. So which is it? Are they as Welsh as you and me because they're born in Wales or England? Or is it they're a separate ethnicity who requires representation to make them to feel like they belong?
Yeah.
The purpose of a system is what it does. Infinity migrants is the result, therefore infinity migrants is the point. The exact same thing is actually happening in Europe. Celios, which you've mentioned. New data from the EU reveals that EU births have plunged to an all-time low. Just 3.67 million babies were born across the 27 nations in 2023. That's down 5.5% on 2022, which is the biggest percentage drop since records began. So we are, as you said, becoming just a demographic black hole.
And there are several reasons for it. I won't take much time of your segment, but for instance, I'll just say about Greece. Greece is a very family-oriented society. We have close to 1.3 fertility rate. It isn't because people don't want to have family, although they do tend to postpone it a bit. It's mostly economic, but obviously it differs according to the country.
Well, the funny thing is as well, it's not just economic, because as Paul Morland, a very good demographer who's been on my show, has pointed out, the areas that have very low-income housing relative to your earnings, they're seeing similar falls in fertility. So it just seems like a complete crisis of faith in ourselves. And it's almost like the moment that you have to rationally plan a child in accordance with your economic or lifestyle goals, it becomes difficult to justify making those sacrifices if you've spent your entire life defining yourself as like a working, self-defining individual. Before, it just sort of happened to people. I mean, about a third of the births in 19th century America were shotgun weddings. So
what happened in about 1965?
The birth control pill, and
That's correct.
And then, but if you look, the 1960s, the middle of the graph, that's also the oil shock, and that happened in Italy, Germany, and Japan all around the same time. And the graph just plummets off a cliff.
Yeah, but in the 80s and moving onwards, birth control becomes very widely available.
Yeah,
and the birth rate craters.
In South Korea and Japan, though, birth control is not widely taken. So there are also other factors into this, but birth control does matter here.
That's gender relations are a problem.
Yes.
Right. The other interesting question would be, why did it rise from 2000 to, let's say, 2008?
No idea. Yeah. But at the moment, the Greek total live births is half of what they were 50 years ago. That's not good.
It's catastrophic.
Yeah.
Whereabouts is Hungary as well? Because Hungary is doing a lot better. Only a 2.2% fall.
I mean, that is better, but look at that, though.
Yes.
Even then, just, like, we can't seriously be looking at this and going, yes, Europe has a future. No, we're screwed.
Well, it does have a future. It's just sourced in sub-Saharan Africa.
But even then, like, they're going to have to get a lot of Africans.
Yeah, that's the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation
I know,
plan.
I know.
The study they published in the Lancet said by 2100 there's only going to be 6 countries on Earth, I think 2 in Asia and 4 in sub-Saharan Africa that have positive birth rates. So we'll just get our entire population from there. Was their very sensible conclusion.
I mean, we've gone from roughly like 900,000 to 750,000. I mean, that's bad, but it's not that bad. It's not Greece levels.
Yeah, but it craters around the early 2000s and then suddenly starts spiking up.
Yeah.
What happened around the late 90s, early 2000s that could have caused this rebound?
Great point.
I wonder. We're also the UK is the fastest falling one in the G7.
Oh, great.
So we're falling faster than Japan.
God, Poland? Oh, no, Poland's being liberalised.
Yes.
Oh, no. Bad luck, Poland. You've got the European future is ahead of you.
Sorry for the depressing segment, ladies and gents, but we do actually...
That's crazy.
yeah. Only 5 countries
We
actually
want
saw...
people to get it on, and they don't.
Yeah.
Only 5 countries saw a
I've
total
got loads
rise
of
in...
kids. Trust me, it's good.
I'm gonna start. Only 5 nations saw a total rise in births. That's Malta, that's about 3.6%, Portugal 2.4%, Bulgaria 1.1%, Cyprus 1%, and Ireland 0.5%.
Portugal playing the long game there.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting that empire back.
But-
When your demographics all collapse, Portugal's time to shine.
The Irish, famous for large families,
Yeah.
only 0.5%. Again,
And again, that
Ireland's
might be something to do with...
the new Irish. Yeah. Well, speaking of which, how come, as Stelios has said, to do with housing and economics, how come these people can afford to have kids? Because I keep
Well, they're
hearing...
subsidised by the government, that's why.
Funny that.
Yeah.
Rupert Lowe, who again is doing the Lord's work.
He
We
is.
are the Rupert Lowe fan club over at the Lotus Eaters. Good man. Since 2007, 2008, because he put in a question in Parliament, he's using his daily allowance to find out social housing by nationality. Since 2007 to 2008, 440,788 non-UK lead tenants accessed new social housing lettings.
That's just crazy. How is it that 500,000 foreigners can get social housing paid for by me?
Yeah, and someone has actually replied to him with the graphic from Neil O'Brien and Robert Jenrick's report, Taking Back Control. This is from page 57.
72% of Somalians just here at your expense.
50% of about other Africans, 40% of Jamaicans, about 40% of Ghanaians.
Why are there 30% of Turks in this country? Like, Turkey's not like some sort of third world country. Get a job.
I think Stelios might disagree with you there.
No comment.
And the UK is around the middle of the pack. Notice that the Japanese don't even register.
Yeah.
There's not a single Japanese person.
Shockingly, the French and the Italians have a remarkably good work ethic. We've got like the neo-Huguenots.
They are, in fact, sending their best.
Yeah, we are actually getting the best of them.
Well, it's because they're fleeing their own land, being absolutely deracinated by mass immigration. But there you go. So,
I just never like the Germans being twice as lazy as the French on this one. What is going on?
but what Germans?
Well, they're probably Germans, to be honest. Well, maybe, I don't know. Yeah,
With German passports.
Yeah.
Probably paper citizens.
I don't see some people there.
Which ones?
No, it's okay. No,
What is the Greeks? Are the Greeks there?
I just don't see
I
us.
don't see 'em.
No, that's
Don't see
impressive.
us.
I'm not paying your benefits, Stelios.
I
Thank
get
you
the
very
feeling
much.
there just aren't that many Greeks, to be honest. In England, I mean.
I think we're 500,000. Something
Really?
Like that. Yeah.
God.
Blimey. All right then, fair enough. Rupert Lowe got some more stats as well after this. The social housing stats are out. In 2023 to 2024, there were 33,075 non-UK born lead tenants accessing new social housing lettings. That also doesn't mean second generation, by the way, because we don't have the data on that yet. The year before it was 26,222. Before that, it was 25,969. So that's
Why do we allow this?
that's gone up by 7,000 in a single year.
It's just insufferable. Why? What? You know what? I just feel like getting a free house over in Spain. You know, I've just decided I just want the Spanish government to give me a house in Spain.
Well, it will benefit their economy because
Apparently.
they factor in state spending as a percentage of GDP.
Well, there
So
we
the
go.
more money they spend on foreign nationals,
Imagine how good the books are going to look.
the line is in fact going up.
I'll have my Spanish villa now, thank you, paid for by the Spanish people.
No, you're not poorer. Here's the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Don't you understand?
Yeah. Trust the spreadsheet, bro.
Yeah, and
God.
another Reform MP who's actually doing some good stuff as well is James McMurdoch. He just decided to share this map created by Neil O'Brien, by the way. Social renting households where head of household was born outside the UK. Look at London.
Yeah.
Sort of-
Well, it's half of all London social housing goes to foreigners.
Yeah.
Just insane. It's just insane. This is totally unsustainable. We can't be paying for the world to come and live with us. This is mad, And James is exactly right. Do you think this represents good governance? No.
But have you not seen that Sundar Katwala, former head of the Fabian Society, by the
Great
way,
squirrel of Britain.
yeah, untrustworthy socialist. You must control for citizenship here, James. Otherwise, you're suggesting two-tier citizenship by birth or ethnicity and treating those who arrived in 1948, 1968, 1999, and those who become citizens after 6 years of new arrivals makes a dramatic difference to the percentage if you do that. Yeah. Yeah, I am actually treating that as two-tier citizenship.
I'm sorry, but your piece of paper means nothing to me, Sunder.
Anyway, after all this frustration, I will...
Just especially as... I love this as a get out as well. It's like, right, the government is literally going to rubber stamp citizenship as quickly as they can for millions and millions of people. Like, in the last 5 years, it was 6 million people.
Last year, it was 1 every 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, yeah, but you've got control for that. No, I don't. Okay, I really don't. These people are foreign-born people that our traitorous government has just literally said, no, we'll give you everything that the country has to offer, and we're going to pay for the privilege. No, I'm not going to get angry.
So you'd think that if we're battery farming Mohammeds at my expense, that's not in exaggeration, it's literally government
Matrix.
policy. Yeah, quite.
Yeah.
You'd think they might be...
Except we're getting nothing out of it. At least in the Matrix, they got energy.
Power.
Yeah. What are we getting from it?
Perhaps they might be grateful. Are they grateful for it? Are they? Well, just to wind you up a little bit, The Spectator have done a review of a brand new play.
Oh, yeah.
This play is at the Royal Court, so pretty prestigious. It's titled Expendable. Muslim playwright thinks Yorkshire is headed for civil war. Read race war. I'll read you the synopsis.
Yorkshire's heading for civil war. People are like, what? People in Yorkshire are like, what the hell's going on? Everyone's like, why would Yorkshire be heading for civil war? Oh no, you want a civil war.
It's not quite the War of the Roses. So the setting is a kitchen in Yorkshire where Zara, good British name, is trying to keep her family together after her son Raheel was outed as a rape suspect by a national newspaper. White thugs dump parcels of excrement on their porch, and Zara cowers under the kitchen table, too scared to answer the door. The racists have mounted a mass demonstration supported by the police.
Oh yeah.
I love when you can just write fan fiction and get it written up in a national newspaper, which causes local bus services to be cancelled. Every Muslim in town is terrified of a white vigilante gang who recently targeted a blameless Yemeni prisoner and kicked him to death. It gets worse. Zara and her daughter, Sophia, join a peaceful counter-demonstration, but the heavy-handed cops arrest 10 innocent Muslims and charge them with violent disorder. Meanwhile, the white thugs are free to scrawl "Rape Capital of the UK," must be in Rotherham, across the side of the local mosque. They then burn it to the ground. The useless cops arrest 3 of the white rioters as a token gesture. Sophia tells her mum she isn't going to apply to university because academia is full of right-wing extremists.
What?
I'll just let that sit for a moment.
What bizarro world is she trying to construct here?
There's a quote here from the play. A black man was stopped and searched on his way to uni, and he was a lecturer.
Oh yeah, and what, Prime Minister Tommy Robinson intervened, did he? Like what? Sorry.
Yasmin discovers that Zara befriended a notorious child abuser named Sajid.
Why?
Weird how there are so many of them.
Why did she want to befriend? Is this Tim Wall's strategy?
She apparently
got my friends are child abusers. What's your problem?
She apparently paid him to refit her kitchen, where he raped young girls and some Muslims too.
What? What am I hearing?
So, you might be asking this question. The same reviewer from The Spectator, Lloyd Evans, says, it's impossible to make sense of this rambling balmy plot, but there's a fascinating message here. And read this in light of the increase in Mohammeds and the fact we're paying their social housing, right? Yeah. Some Muslims believe that the media, police, and justice system are conspiring to make their lives hell. According to the playwright, this Yorkshire town is headed for a civil war between the Gora, white, community and the Muslims. Right. This vision of a Britain where law-abiding Muslims are hunted in the streets while English vigilantes commit arson and murder with impunity may not reflect the facts on the ground, but this is how a Muslim dramatist sees our society, and she deserves attention.
Insane paranoia.
Yes. The problem is, though, the Home Office's Raiku department literally puts out reports that says the grooming gangs and two-tier policing are a right-wing conspiracy theory. So this is the message being put out by the media.
Yep.
The government is doing the complete opposite, while also conducting an experimental open border strategy of importing and battery farming Mohammeds.
These are the stories that the Mohammeds are telling themselves.
Yes.
So it justifies anything that they do in the future. Great.
So I'm sure there'll be one round to British values eventually.
Soup Chat is really good. It's funny how even in their own fan fiction, the groomers have names like Sajid.
Hey, I just read Home Office reports.
It's just
Also,
Funny.
in the chat, someone said that they are nominating me for a luxury apartment in Hull.
Oh, I don't know why you don't. Like, you've missed the boat on that one. Stelios. You probably came in lawfully.
I came in by plane.
I love how you say probably. You employ him.
I didn't check.
I hope you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, and if you want to see what else we're up to, you could always go over to our website and watch Beau's 12-part series, at least so far, about Caesar's life and ancient Rome. And if you want to see all the other things that we're up to, you can always follow us on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.